Upcoming price increase for Evernote? Your subscription is going from $47 to $138 on the 18th of February? Now I'm going to have to build a whole startup just to avoid paying $138. My name is James Jansen and I'm a web developer. I've worn many hats over the years. I was a science and mathematics teacher. I did mathematical modeling of HIV epidemiology. And I've been a web developer since 2015 when I created TapView with a couple of friends. It was a micropayments platform that allowed you to pay for news one article at a time. And I've also been a senior developer at a hospital timetabling startup. This video is the first in a series of videos that's going to follow me building this notes application. So if you like programming and you like building companies, then I think you're going to find it interesting, if not helpful. It's going to be a mix of technical and business because that's really what startups are. In my videos, I'll cover company building and planning, branding, promotion, but also the technical side, programming, testing, deployment, and scaling. Remember, giving a like and subscribe is for free. It costs you nothing and helps the YouTube algorithm work out what you want to watch. So it's a great investment. Do it right now. While I might joke about this being one of the worst decisions I've ever made, this decision to create an Evernote alternative does not come lightly. I've thought about this idea for a long time. I've been an Evernote user since 2011, so I'm a very long-term user. Unfortunately, I'm not using it that much these days because it's nowhere near as convenient as it used to be. I really liked Evernote in the early days because it offered something that no one else had. That is, it allowed you to create notes and synchronize it between your computer and your phone instantaneously. The notes were also available offline, both on your phone and your computer, which meant that you didn't need to have an internet connection to have access to your notes when you needed them most. At the time, this was revolutionary. A lot of iPhone and Mac users might recognize this as core functionality of the Apple Notes platform. And that's why I've decided to make my own version, or at least a very pared down version of it. So before I start, I want to give you a little bit of history about how Evernote kind of lost its way. I don't really want to blame anyone who's involved in this story or any of the actions that they took. It's really easy to make these decisions like this. You start off with a really cool idea and you get users naturally, but then growth slows. So then someone is brought in to bring back the growth. But often what happens is bloated features. It happens to almost every company, so no ill will to the Evernote team or Bending Spoons, their new owner, but this is the way that I see it. What was a simple notes app has expanded into a generalist productivity system. This is the Evernote homepage today. It is not really that good. You'd expect it to be displaying mainly your notes, but in reality, there's a lot of bloat going on. You've got a whole heap of thumbnails of your notes. You have buttons for note, but also task and events. And you have a whole heap of links to calendars and templates and spaces. Now you have to find and click the notes section here for you to get a list of your notes how you'd expect them. Ironically, the old notes display was much better. In fact, this GIF here is from a blog that was criticizing the old new interface, which is actually a lot better than it is right now. And if you look at this page here, these notes aren't even mine. These notes were created when I was prompted to try out one of their new features called Spaces. And this created a whole heap of notes that polluted my notes. This is no longer a notes app. This is a productivity system, and it's not what people originally signed up for. I don't really know if the productivity system features are very good. I don't really use them. My guess is it's not very good because most people don't talk about Evernote in these terms. But by expanding the scope of the application, it's increased development and server costs significantly. The increased cost of development and maintenance made the original company so expensive to run that they had to sell to their new owners, a company called Bending Spoons. This is particularly ironic because the Evernote CEO, Phil Libin, tried to describe Evernote as a 100-year company. Bending Spoons bought the company and did what any good company does. It rationalized the company by cutting costs, cutting staff, and increasing prices. Once again, I don't really feel like blaming the company for what was effectively required by law for them to continue operating. But importantly, as a user, I've never been given the choice to opt out of all of these extra features that set Evernote up for failure. And that means that I'm being asked to pay for it. And that $138 is way too much. Until now, Evernote has actually grandfathered my price in, so I was only paying $47 per year. That wasn't bad. I thought, I'll just keep paying to not have to think about exporting and importing my old notes. But charging more than double for a worse product feels wrong to me, and it really kicked me into gear to create this alternative. One of the main reasons I really liked Evernote was the desktop client. I've been a full-time Linux user for several years now. Evernote has declared that they will no longer support Linux desktop from 2023. And strangely enough, when I was compiling this video, the download page wouldn't even work. A neat desktop client for simple notes is what we wanted. Now, desktop clients are an afterthought, if that. Also, we can get some project management tools that no one ever wanted. It's annoying, and it misses the whole point about why literally millions of people started using Evernote in the first place. So, what am I doing about it? I've created a lot of internet products in the past, and I've decided this time I'm going to try to build in public. It's a little bit of a risk and a little bit scary. I've never really done this before. I have been in the public eye before though. In 2013, I actually created a political party called the Future Party and later called the Science Party. To start this political party, I actually had to create videos of myself and promote them on YouTube and Facebook. People would judge me for my ideas, they would judge me for how I looked, I even got the occasional death threat. But building in public is a different type of scary. It's scary because you're putting your work out there. In particular, you're making promises to your viewers about what you are going to create and how it's going to work. If there's one thing that anyone who started a company knows, it's that what you start off with isn't what is necessarily going to work. You might have to radically change what you do, or you might have to abandon the idea altogether. So if I have to do either of those, please show me a little bit of sympathy. And if you started your own company and had to change or abandon things, why don't you leave your story down in the comments? I'd love to hear it. There are also a few things that are general risks with building in public, such as making yourself a public target for hacking and extortion, people trying to copy your idea, and your audience not actually being a good match for your intended ideal customer. I'll leave a link in the description to a short video about risks of building in public. That said, I'm not letting this put me off. I'm not really doing this to get customers. I'm doing it to hold me accountable. I'm doing it to form a community and to demonstrate my skills in communication, company building, and web development. Before I get to the next section, if you're still watching, I think you want to hear more from my story. So give this video a like and give my channel a subscribe so that YouTube knows that you want to keep watching me. When you're creating a company, you need to be quite well organized. This doesn't mean that you need to manage every single minute and you need to put one step after the other 6 months in advance. In fact, this is probably one of the worst ways to run a startup. Everything will change, so don't be really prescriptive about the stuff far off into the future. But you should keep your eyes on the immediate short term, always prioritizing things that are necessary to be done to keep the needle moving forward and not being distracted by things that won't help you very much. To do that, I think you need to write down what you plan to do. If it's all in your head, you won't be able to plan and prioritize, and you'll just forget things. So I'm going to create a list of things that I plan to do in this startup. To make my task list, I'm going to create it in Focover. Full disclosure, Focover is a productivity system that I created for work chat and managing tasks. I designed it to be simple and easy to use, with subtasks that actually work, and chat that is attached to tasks themselves to avoid excessive noise in company chats. If this is something that you'd like to try out, go to focover.com. Anyway, back to creating the list of things to do. So I'll just create a new space called Notes in my organization, and I'll add myself to it. Firstly, we have to decide what the product is going to be, what the features are going to be, etc. We're going to want to do some market research on whether the product is viable and who the customer would be. Then we're going to determine methods to use to promote it. We'll decide what the name of the company will be. We'll set up a company structure. We'll determine what the price profit model will be. We'll decide what systems to use to build the app. and we'll start building the app. Even though this looks like a nice list and has a good order to it, I'm going to jump around. I've already decided ahead of time what one of the promotional activities will be. You're watching it right now. Building in public is the first promo for this company. So let's put Build in Public at the top of the list. To do this, I had to do a lot of things, so let's make some subtasks. I had to create a recording space for Building in Public. I had to set up lighting. I had to set up OBS so I could record myself. I had to set up sound. I had to write the first script. I had to record the video. I had to edit the video. And I had to create a YouTube channel. And then I had to upload the video. So if you're watching this, I did all of this. So I can start ticking that off right now. So tick, 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 tick. Now this video is already getting really long and I've got a black tie waiting to attend. So I'm going to have to leave some content for future videos. Some of the upcoming videos that I think I'll be making include choosing a company name, deciding on product features, business model and pricing, so how much will I charge, my video setup and the tips for making efficient low budget videos, choosing programming languages and platforms for the app, market research and why I'm not doing it, and why building in public is hard. This is really just the beginning. If you have ideas for what I should do, get down there in the comments and just let me know. If you have ideas for what I should call the company or what the company should do or how much the company should charge, let me know. I really want to hear it because your feedback is actually going to help drive this company forward. There are lots of really cool videos coming up, but there's only one way that you're going to see them, and that's to press the like button and press subscribe so that you're notified about videos that come out in the future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.